hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to your Sunday Sunday conversation with the Love Crusader. Apologies, we started a bit late today. Yeah, life happens, and sometimes we get too busy, but we are here now, and we are hoping that we'll have a fantastic session with you all. If you're coming across this platform for the first time, it is called Conversation with a Love Crusader, and it is where we talk about serious issues in a fun way. We talk about issues of life, love, and of relationship. Um, I'm just trying to fix my sound. I don't know if it's my.
You're muted, Mercy. There
Hello?
you are. Can hear you now.
Good. So all this while I've been talking. Hello, everyone. Okay, can you hear me now? Is my sound better?
Yes.
Oh, great, fantastic. Yeah, I have my microphone in now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversation with the Love Crusader. It is hosted by Men Fences. It's a platform where we talk about love, we talk about life, we talk about relationships in a fun way. It's a platform where we learn things about life and especially relationship. So if you're coming for the first time, we are live on YouTube. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of you know, our live notifications when we're live. We're also on Facebook. We're currently live on Facebook and also on my personal profile on LinkedIn. You can connect with me. You can connect with us. Emmanuel is also on LinkedIn. Are you on LinkedIn, Emmanuel? I always say me. I don't know whether he is. I have people who are co-hosting with me but are not so social media savvy. Okay, I won't say anything more than that. Emmanuel, go to LinkedIn. Let's move on. I just inducted Emmanuel. We are discussing, hopefully, the final part to a topic we titled Relationship Killers. We've had 2 fantastic weeks with Pastor Mary and Reverend Steve joining us to talk about different things that can kill a relationship. Today, we are home alone. Titi is joining us in a few minutes, and we are going to try to summarize the conversation around relationship killers. And this has, of course, generated a lot of buzz. People have been giving us feedback and talking to us about some of the points we've raised here, which is, what we wanted, what we want. We want you to talk to us. We want you to get back to us. We want your feedback, and that's why we have a phone number attached, a WhatsApp number attached to our Facebook page. You can go there and send us a direct message. Thank you to every one of you following us. Thank you to all of our new subscribers. I see you. I see you. Okay. Let's try and see what we can do. Emmanuel, a quick recap. You hosted the first one, relationship.
Yes.
So let's just try to list some of what we've talked about before we go into the two last ones we're dealing with today.
Yeah. Hi, viewers. Welcome again to the platform. The first time we talked about relationship killers, we pretty much defined, what are these things that can harm our relationships. We talked about the little foxes that spoil the vine. There were one of the big one we talked about was communication, and the second really big one we talked about was selfishness, and how why we do what we do goes a long way to impact the quality of relationships that we had. And among them, we talked about what we call these boys. If you'd really like to know what these boys are, it'll be good for you to go back and just watch the first episode of this relationship killers. But that's just a summary of some of the things we talked about. Overall, it was a case of self first versus selfishness versus self care versus self love. And it was quite an interesting conversation. So I'll definitely encourage anyone that hasn't, watched part one, please do so. It will really bless you.
Yes, I was not fully in the studio for the part one, and I was blessed. It made me feel like sometimes I should really sit back and listen when other people talk, because honestly, it was a fantastic learning experience for me. And the argument about selfishness and self love, I and Emmanuel started it offline, and it continued online. But it was a beautiful one. It was a beautiful one. And last week, we also talked about. Oh, by the way, Pastor Steve said, the grandfather of it all is the selfishness. Everything comes from selfishness. When people start thinking about themselves in the relationship, rather than thinking about we, you're thinking of I. That's the beginning of the problem. Okay, so let's just go into it this week because the time is already running now. Today we're talking about lack of trust and suspicions. They go together, and trust is one thing that many people will always say again is one of the biggest foundation of a relationship. And if it's not there, why are we there? So, welcome, Titi. Titi's finally
Hi.
here. Welcome. Already missing you. Welcome. So we're already talking about trust. How can trust, not trust itself, but I think a lack of trust, how does it kill a relationship? Emmanuel.
So, well, what leads to a lack of trust? Mainly suspicion. Um, if a relationship is a covenant between two people based upon an agreed charter or a set rules that, in this case, God has, put in place that we follow, I guess trust now becomes a case where one person is doing something that is against those set rules, and as such, losing the confidence of the other person. Trust is I have to be able to. It's now an interdependent relationship, especially in marriage, right, or any relationship. Essentially, there is some kind of interdependence to a certain level, and if I cannot depend on you to hold up your end of this covenant, then of course we have a problem with trust. And I think that's the best way I can walk around it. Of course, this is a very, very big overview. We can go into the nitty-gritty details around it, but once we start doing that, you will find that whatever it is, the understanding we had about what you will do, what I will do, how we will do it, if someone is shifting away from that understanding, it begins to breed, a lack of trust, a lack of confidence in the decisions you will make, in the choices, in what you will do. I can no longer have a sense of, well, I use the word predictability, or comfort in knowing, let me use it that way, comfort in knowing that this is what you will do. And as a result, I can align myself with you and we can together work as a team. But if there is so much unpredictability around you now, simply because you won't stick with what the rules, unquote, are, then it breeds a lack of confidence or, lack of trust. What do you think, Titi?
I think I like the fact that you use the word covenant because um, most times people see marriage as because when I know and I understand that we might tend to use the word agreement, when we try to explain these things, which is a good way in terms of explanation. But the truth of the matter is, marriage is much more than an agreement. It is more of a covenant. So when you see it from that aspect, that I know how strong a covenant can be, that if you break it, a lot of things can go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the lack of trust starts developing from, because most people don't. People, that's where the issue of trust comes in, because most people don't understand the value or what marriage agreement or covenant is. So they begin to break that trust. And how that is a marriage killer is the fact that when there's so much inconsistencies in the marriage space, because I mean, we're all humans, we make mistakes. They said to err is human, and so
Definitely,
long
it's
as we are
divine.
human, yeah, so long as we are humans, we would err. But when you continue to err and err and err, especially concerning the same issue, the lack of trust begins to come in. So, for example, my husband is unfaithful, and he's like, I'm so sorry, it will not happen again. It was the devil. Okay, we understand it was the devil. 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, the same mistake repeats itself. Or there's just that pattern of inconsistency. It might not even be the same thing, but you are inconsistent in this aspect. In other aspects, there are patterns of inconsistency. Then trust begins to set in. That's why let me not even go down that drain. I wanted to mention something about the married couple and their phones, but let me not go down that,
Why will you not
because
go there?
when you begin to say something like, why are you checking my phone? Why are you beginning to, then then there's something wrong.
Mhm.
When you start using those lines, why are you check why are you doing this? And I'm not saying go behind your spouse's back. As a matter of fact, when you start going behind their back, there's a
Mm,
problem already.
right,
When you find yourself going behind their back already, then there's an issue already. The
right,
issue of trust is just a very, I don't know.
right. And when somebody starts feeling, a sense of lack of trust, without knowing, they start aligning themselves differently from how they maybe ordinarily would. The
Mhm.
way you just neutrally, joyfully do certain things. Now you're not doing those things anymore. And without knowing it indirectly, that lack of trust is causing you to change your attitude, your habits, what you would ordinarily be doing because now you're not sure, which only
Mm.
adds more fuel to the fire and things gets even worse. So that's why it's really a big deal. And yes, it should no longer be you can't check my phone. Why would we be in a loving covenant relationship and there is some kind of secrecy or something that is out of reach? I don't know. But anyway, maybe I am one of the old school, if this is an old school way of thinking. But I would think that there is nothing that should be with inaccessible to my spouse that pertains to me. That's a thought process.
Okay, thank you. I like the consistency, um, and the fact that it will not breed mistrust. I totally agree with that. Um, I'm more concerned here today about suspicions that may be unfounded.
Hmm.
Do you understand
What
what
do
I'm
you
trying
mean
to
unfounded?
That's it. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Like,
Yeah, like unfounded. Okay, I'm curious.
in some relationship, some people have trust issues. So it's not about what their partner is doing or not doing, really. It's just about the fact that either they are bringing in baggages from their past relationships or from their father or their mother's dynamic, growing up, or stories someone has told them, you know. And you won't believe how bad this is. Yesterday on a WhatsApp group, there was some small wahala. Why? A young man said, "Oh, hello anyone. If you know a fine young Nigerian girl, I'd like to get married." Another one said, leave them alone. No, all these Nigerian women in the UK, They are not dependable. They are not this. They are not that. Hello, somebody that have not married. So this person who already has this mindset of Nigerian women, just for this example, in the UK, are not this and are not that. If this one eventually marries, that woman does not need to give him any reason to mistrust. And are you understand what I'm trying to say? How do we deal with such? Some people don't even trust themselves,
Mhm.
so they can't trust someone else. They don't. They when you say you're coming, they can't trust that you're really coming. And if you find yourself in a relationship with that kind of person, these are also the crop of people who are forever checking phones, who are forever, going through your things. What's she hiding? What's she? What is he?
Mm.
How do we deal with that aspect? That aspect is actually my main. That's why I see the problem. Because if for example, the example Titi gave, which is a perfect one, somebody is a cheat. You cheated the first time. I forgive you. You say, oh, it's a mistake. Devil push you. As some people will always want to use the devil. Then you go and do it again. Then you go and do it again. The tendency is that the next time I see you say hello to a lady, I definitely begin to think, Otuti Bere. I'm sorry. Did I just speak vernacular? He has started again. The tendency is to say, oh, he has started again. And that's a good one, because that is a how will I call it? That is a founded reason. And that can be worked on. If that person now fully truly repents, maybe work on building that trust again, go 2 3 4 5 years without cheating, 10 years without cheating, then over time this person, the partner, can now say, okay, yes, my partner has actually repented and has changed and will not do this again, and I can relax now. When I see him say hello to a woman, I will not fear. Are you getting what I'm saying? So for me, I think that is a bit of an easier aspect. The aspect is this inborn mistrust that some people bring into a relationship, not because of what one person has done or anything, but because in them is already planted seeds of mistrust and suspicions. Oh, she went and said she was going to come back at 5. She now came back at 7. So what were you doing for that extra 2 hours? Okay, talk to me. Talk to me. You get what I'm trying to say now already. So talk to me. What can we do about this?
Oh wow.
You put on to
So
talk. You talk to it now.
no, I would try to give some comments to that, but you're right. Unfortunately, there are situations where previous experiences inform current reality, and it is unfortunate, where people have been hurt in the past and they've come through that hurt. It's like someone that escapes a fire and then decides, if I smell smoke, I'm not even waiting to see the flames, I've already reacted. But the smoke you might be smelling is somebody preparing you a nice barbecue. It may not necessarily mean a fire, right? It's I'm just saying. But on one hand, if people have had really hurtful, traumatic experiences, it's not very easy to just say, oh yeah, ignore your experiences, ignore all the maybe lessons you've learned from it. The world is now perfect and fine again. So on one hand, you want to empathize and understand. On the other hand, the person that is in a relationship with this person should be aware from the get go. You should be able to notice certain signs, or let me use the word red flags, or things that let you know, okay, this is an aspect in this person's life where maybe there is a struggle. And then you have to decide how you will accommodate or live with that. If it's something you can't live with, then from the get-go, you guys need to deal with that before the relationship becomes serious. Now, if however this is your spouse and there is no turning back from this, according to the Bible, Apostle Paul will say we should have learned, to deal with those that are weak and deal with those that are strong. If somebody is weak and this is how you, it's like a child. There is a way you would talk to a child. There's a way you talk to an adult. The reason you do, the ultimate purpose is to establish relationship with that person, depending on the level at which they are functioning, right? So if your spouse has an issue in a certain area, you might need to do just that additional work of helping to reassure, helping to build the person's confidence in the relationship when it comes to that area, and be sensitive and be aware to what it is that they're, will I say, struggling with. Give it time. I believe on the basis of healing, on the basis of newfound confidence, on the basis of love, healing will come in, and you would find that that person will get stronger and stronger in that area. That's the best encouragement I can give, to try to balance both sides, because it is difficult. Quite people, there are people that have had really really difficult experiences in their past that makes it difficult. How can they just blatantly trust? We will have unrealistic expectations, just say no, you should just be. So that's my thought on that one. It's quite challenging.
Okay, Titi, what do you think?
I think that whether the issue of people having trust issues is the same thing as someone being a cheat, for example, because it's the same work that you need to put in, the same effort that you need to put in. And sometimes these things don't manifest until later in the marriage. Sometimes maybe when you are dating and everything, it might not be there. They just trust you wholeheartedly. But sometimes it might just be as a result of people that are speaking into their lives, or the experiences of people around them. Their relationship is near perfect, but they just realize that good relationships are hard to come by. So almost all the people around them are experiencing heartbreaks. you know
Mm,
their spouses are cheating. They're normal things that they will just see as it's a normal thing. If it's supposed to come at 5 and it comes at 7, probably something, it was held up somewhere. But you have friends around you, you have people around you saying, don't take it lying down. No. What do you mean? A whole 2 hours. That's enough for him to go and sleep around. That's it. After a while,
mm,
she begins to think, wow, so I've been a fool all this while, and start acting up. And the spouse is there wondering, where's all this coming from? You know. So it's just it's like any other thing that might crop up in the marriage space that you might need to talk about and deal with this thing before it begins to like we're addressing today. It is a marriage killer, whether it's because of you're having trust issues. Even when it is founded, it is a marriage killer. When you have legal grounds to not trust your spouse, it will eventually kill the marriage. So the solution in both situations is to deal with it before that thing deals with the marriage and deals with both of you. Because even if you have legal grounds to not trust the person, if you don't deal with it, you can go crazy. You can't monitor this person. So it's either the earlier you deal with it, the better. So it can kill the marriage and it can kill the person too. So talk these things through. It's like it's beginning to sound like a cliche, but how can marriages even survive without people talking things through? I think that's one of the best things that can happen to a marriage. Talk these things through and find a solution to the issue together.
I know you keep talking about talking these things through. And that thing that you say as like a simple sentence is a big deal for a lot of people. When
Yeah.
you want to talk, they don't want to talk and they don't want to deal with it. I'm going to bring Tara. Tara says she's been married for 30 years. My goodness. We need to clap to that.
Wow.
That's a big achievement, Tara. We celebrate you. Oh my God. We both came from parents who are still married and need a good example, but have witnessed other relationships crumble. See, so you see, for her, blessings, that the blessing of a good background and a good relationship with her parents' relationship, but not everyone has that, you know. And I agree with Emmanuel that some people have had very tough, traumatic you know, traumatic experiences and traumatic um but I think the first thing is to acknowledge that you have a problem. For me, that's where I'll start from. The acknowledgement. Now, if you are in a relationship, whether it's a married relationship, whether you have a fiancé, a fiance, a partner, whatever title, in fact, whether it's your girlfriend, no, I'm talking in terms of a girl to a girl, boy to a boyfriend. If you cannot, there should be a level, a measure, and a level of trust of what your friend can do and what your friend will not do to you. If not, how would the relationship progress? And listen, they will definitely be giving you a hint. When they start telling you, you're too suspicious, or why are you thinking that way? Then you begin to ask yourself, okay, why am I really thinking that way? Because it's unfair to carry that baggage, that trauma from whether your past relationship or seeing other people's relationship. It's unfair to bring it into your new one. And if you have the problem, find solution to it. It can be treated. I agree with you that sometimes you don't know it's there because trauma can hide. And then one experience, something will happen that will trigger it, and then the trauma comes back up. And then you behave in that way. I'm like, I would never have thought that I would behave like this. You know, the truth is that situation has not presented itself before. And that is why you didn't know that's how you were going to react, or that there's a hidden or buried trauma there. But once you know it, please go and find a solution. Go for therapy, go to a counselor, seek help. Because one of the worst things that can happen to anyone is to be in a relationship where you don't have rest of mind. Yeah, your heart is always up there because you're always thinking, he went out now.
Why
And
is it always he? She
okay,
went out.
she are the worst. If you have a woman that has a trust issue, she's worse. She is worse. Women are terrible at it. You don't want to get into a woman, you don't want to get a relationship with a woman that has trust issues. We are worse because we are naturally born investigators. So it is women that they created this app for. I saw one app that said, oh, you want to know where your man is? Then you call him, and then the app will now show if the man tells you he's in the office, but he's in a hotel with a girl, the app will now show it. Nítorí Ọlọ́run, how do people have time for that? How? And who are those creating this app, for God's sake? Are you people okay? Are you people okay? What's the aim? I mean, if it's a safety thing to know that your partner is safe, it's different. But to monitor human being,
It's a safety thing.
Sister Titi, behave yourself. Looks like you're a culprit. It's like we're trying to indict Sister Titi this evening. I hope you are not checking phone. Please and please give yourself peace of mind. Give yourself peace of mind. A young girl told me I want to marry an ugly man because I don't want other girls to be disturbing him. I say there will still be ugly girls that will disturb him. Every how will I call it? Every man has his own. Every woman has their own. You get what I mean? No matter how ugly you think a woman is, there's one man that likes her. No matter how unattractive you think a man is, there's one woman out there that would like her. The best you can do for yourself is build trust in your relationship and have that peace of mind that tells you, you know, okay, this man, I can take his word for it. This woman, I can take his word. At least for your own peace of mind, not for theirs. I don't know how to explain this. It's even for your own peace of mind. A woman chased the husband and the side chick some months back in Nigeria. She was chasing them, driving. She saw them and she was driving after them. Then she got into an accident. She crashed and she died. Hello? I think the man is now free to have a million side chicks. She's gone. Okay, I'll leave you with that.
I I wanted to add one more thing when it comes to suspicion. Another thing with us human beings, by default, we tend to view the world through our own eyes, through our own experiences. We tend to measure other people through what we think we will do or not do if we're in their shoes or in that situation. This is me, or one way of saying, if you find yourself dealing or struggling with suspicion, perhaps the things that you are projecting towards your partner are actually things that you should be looking internally and dealing with within yourself. Maybe there's something that's going on, and instead of dealing with how you are feeling, what you're struggling with, the easier thing is just to project it on your spouse, and now giving the person a hard time over things that in reality you're the one
God bless you.
that's
Talking
dealing
about
with it. So
inferiority complex. When you are in a relationship with someone who has inferiority complex, who always see themselves as not good enough, then they always feel like you are always out there looking for something better than them. Do you see? And the problem is not the person out there, it's you. Because you're already feeling inferior. Maybe I did not deserve this kind of man. And so, because you feel like you're not good enough for this man, maybe there's somebody else out there who is better. Or just you have a spouse that is rising in their career, they are meeting people as they grow. Remember, we're talking about growing together last week. For those who watched it, if you're not growing together, it can be a relationship killer. Go back. If you've missed any of the 3 sessions, please go back. They've all been powerful. Maybe one person is growing, the other one is not growing in the relationship. And the next thing is to begin to suspect, how is she making all this money? How is she getting this promotion at work? Oh, okay, she went for office dinner. Who greeted her? Oh, now she has to travel. She has to travel for 1 week for official journey. Where will she stay? In a hotel, alone. Will she alone? Hey, people of God, you're not going to live long, oh. You'll get high blood pressure, oh. Trust God and trust your spouse. I think that's it. I don't know what else to say. Trust God and trust your spouse that they have the best of intentions, you know, while they are with you. And if they've actually given you a reason, like we said, that's the other aspect of it. If they've given you a reason not to trust them before, don't continue to hamper them or hamper the healing of your relationship by holding on to that reason, because that's another aspect of it. Sometimes someone has genuinely made a mistake once and they've repented of it. They are no longer doing it, but they have a partner who is reminding them. And I think I forgave you yesterday. Or you think because you want to go out now, that's how I forgave you. But then you don't heal. You're not going to make progress in the relationship, because now you've refused to let go of, okay, that moves us into the next part. That moves us into the next part. The second thing we're talking about today is unforgiveness and unresolved conflict. And we'll try to draw a demarcation between the two as per what we mean by unresolved conflict and unforgiveness in its own right, and how they kill a relationship. But I think we should take a break. If you have not subscribed to our channel, this is the opportunity to subscribe. If you have not shared the link, this is the opportunity to share the link. We'll come back in a few seconds right after that. All right, welcome back, people. It's still Conversation with the Love Crusader. and we're talking about relationship killers today, part 3. So we've been trying to list some of the things that you said. Remember, we put it out there. We asked, what are some of the things that you've experienced as relationship killers? And these were the responses we got from you. And we've been trying to analyze each one of them. So we have just finished talking about trust, mistrust, actually, because trust in itself is positive. We've talked about mistrust and how mistrust can destroy your relationship. Trust the people around you, trust yourself, and just trust God. Or some people will say trust the universe, but trust God. That's what I know. Trust God that all will be well. Be positive in your relationship and in your thinking about other people. Try to avoid negativity because it breeds mistrust and suspicions. Let's move right into the brother or sister of the of this mistrust, because I believe that mistrust is one of the reasons why we have unresolved conflict. So
Mhm.
people have issues that have stayed so long in their relationship. Something happened and they just can't seem to move, can't get away, can't get past it, you know depending on the gravity of it. Okay, let's first start. How does unresolved conflict become a problem in a relationship? Titi has been too quiet. Let's start with Titi.
Before we went on the break, we were trying to tie unresolved conflict to unforgiveness. And I dare say that most of the unforgiveness, and this is not to say that unforgiveness should be your lack of you not forgiving should be tied to unresolved conflict, because I mean, forgiveness is first for yourself, to free yourself, you
Mm,
know. But I dare say that most unforgiveness or lack of trust in most marriages is because of unresolved conflict.
uh-huh.
Because most of the time, and this is one of the things that make me cringe when it comes to resolving conflicts in marriages or relationships, where people just feel like, yeah, you've been hurt, the other party has apologized, then you should move on. It is much more than that. You've hurt somebody. Sorry is not going to cut it. Sorry is not a healer.
Lubaton. Sorry,
Yes,
not going to cut it.
sorry
Okay, go
won't
on.
cut it. Just as we're beginning to say that it depends on the level and everything, you know. The fact that you've told me sorry does not mean that I've healed from that hurt, you know. So you've done something so much that hurts me in that relationship, and you're expecting me to just move on. Is it that you don't understand the gravity of what you've done, or you just feel like, or you feel like it's just a piece of cake, it's not a big deal. So that's one of the issues when it comes to lack of trust and unforgiveness in relationship, because the issue has not been resolved yet. We just slap some sorry on top of it and say let's move on. It's going to rear its ugly head somewhere along the line. You just can't avoid it you know
Titi, let me add something for you there, because this is a very, very strong point that people need to look at again. And I believe that anyone who's been experienced, who's either married or been in a long-term relationship and who relates with people a lot, will be able to relate to what we're talking about right now. The truth is, for me, I think sorry might be enough the first time. But sorry without repentance, that is sorry, you do it again, sorry. You do it again, sorry. Okay.
Hmm.
I don't know how to deal with that. Maybe Manuel.
All right, great pointers. But so first of all, the what is the purpose of sorry? I
Okay.
believe in saying sorry. But the situations we described are actually important that we highlight. However, what is the purpose of sorry? The original reason why we tell people or we even raise our kids to say sorry is supposed to be an acknowledgement of the hurt that I have caused the other person. It's also supposed to represent, let me say, a word of confidence that since I acknowledge that this thing I did or said hurt you, I will try not to do or say it again going forward. So in that one word, sorry, is supposed to, in terms of purpose, carry all that meaning. However, if the situation you've described where the same situation is repeated all over again, is sorry, sorry, so it now loses the meaning, right? That those attributes that sorry is originally supposed to carry within itself intricately, it loses it because it's almost as if you don't really care that it hurts. Neither are you concerned about the possibility of making changes so that it doesn't continue to hurt me. And if you're doing something that continues to hurt me, it's difficult for me to now just accept that you're truly sorry about it. So that's where sorry may now lose its power. But I believe in sorry because there are a lot of things that happen in relationships, knowingly or unknowingly, that we cannot go back on. You cannot take back what you said, for example, but you can actually be apologetic about it and you can make an effort not to say it or not to do it. And there is some power in that, not only for the person providing the apology, but for the person receiving it, because it helps them to heal. The healing Titi was talking about, it helps that hurt to heal a little bit quicker and a little bit easier when you know that the person that has caused the hurt truly feels bad that they hurt you and they're actually making an effort not to repeat that thing again. Most of us will agree that that's the least anyone can, say ask for and, see in a relationship for you to then be able to try to move forward and reconcile and put things back in place. That
I
is
like
it.
the way you're smiling, Titioya. Tell us what you're smiling about. I can feel it.
No, he said it helps to. I say it helps. The sorry helps to begin the healing process. And I'm not talking, yeah, maybe we're talking generally, but I'm talking about when you've actually hurt your spouse or your partner. I mean, you can't just. I believe that sorry is the first step. Then your actions, then the things you do after that. But you can't shrug off someone's hurts and say, by now you should be healed, which is what happens in most relationship. People don't say it, but by their actions, you know. Number one, you can't cheat on your spouse, especially for a previously healthy relationship, supposedly. Cheat on your spouse and expect that everything just goes away like that and expect that they never make mention. And I'm not saying continue to hammer the issue and continue to dance around it and don't, because it is expected that you should heal. You should start your healing journey, the person that has been hurt, right? Now, for the person that caused the hurt, you can't expect that this person will never make mention of this issue again, such that you now say, by your actions, I expect that you should have healed from this thing by now. You expect they should have healed. What have you done to contribute to that healing journey? So my point is, the issue has not been resolved. You think it has been resolved. Maybe you don't understand how badly you hurt the person. So we really don't resolve issues. That's why there's mistrust, and that's why there's supposed unforgiveness. And that is why
The
it is a marriage killer.
the fantastic point here, which I also love you just made now, is the fact that you think it has been resolved, but it has not been resolved.
Mhm.
If I were you as an offender, I think the question would always be to ask the person you offended, how are you feeling about this matter? Do you understand? Okay, I'll give you an example. Somebody did something, and Emmanuel also asked me why he offended his wife, you know, and they both went to see a counselor about the matter. It was a serious issue. She even had to ask him to leave the house for a while. First of all, the guy felt like, what has happened? That you not tell me to leave the house. She said she felt unsafe, you know, and he actually did something. Somebody might say, well, but he did something that was bad. Okay? It's bad. What's bad is bad. Now, they went for counseling, they've gone through counseling. He got to a point where in the counseling he actually acknowledged, oh yeah, now I see why this is bad. I thought she was exaggerating, or I thought it wasn't such a big deal, but now I see it's wrong. So they were both cancelled and everyone thought it was over. Fast forward a few months down the line, these same guys come back to, so they are talking about, oh, somebody in the woman's family now. And then the guy is like, no, I'm never speaking to that person again. Because when we had that problem, they did like this and they did like that. So if you resolved the matter and you've acknowledged that you were wrong, why are you beefing somebody who was part of saying you were wrong? Because that was the person's role there. That person said, no, you can't do this to my sister. I'm not going to take it and all of that. And you are still beefing that person. And then when the woman is saying, but that means the matter is not finished. If you cannot forgive my sister, how do we say this matter has finished? She said, yes, is it because I even kept quiet? What you even did? How? So because it was shocking to me when I heard the story, like, so is it that we were wrong in assuming that this had been resolved? Or is it that someone was not being sincere in the process of the healing? You get what I'm saying? In the process of trying to cancel, and was someone being unsincere in it? Because sometimes some people come to counseling, I think they are not sincere about the process. They just want to, and that is also the reason why sorry becomes nonsense. When you're sorry is just so that the person will stop talking about it. I have said sorry now. What else do you want? Or just be able to tell the world that I have apologized now. Can I kill myself? Then that sorry is meaningless. Apologies should be backed up by changes. For me, the best apology you can give your partner is a change. Is to try and not do that thing again. Nobody is perfect, but let it not be the same one, the same thing. You repeat it again and again. And then when we talk about an issue that we believe we've resolved, and you're still talking about it in anger, because like Titi said, it might actually be difficult not to totally mention it, not to be able to ever mention it. We might have times when we reference it. There are things that have happened in my marriage that were very, very serious. And these days when we talk about it, we laugh. Me and my husband, we laugh at ourselves. We're laughing at ourselves because now we're more matured and we feel like, Kai, man, I not try. My husband just say, Chai, I no try. I no handle that thing well at all. That's different. But to say, oh, is it because I just left you that thing you did? I just wanted us to have peace. That's all repentance. That is not repentance, people. Abi, am I making sense? Somebody's talking. Talk to me. Let Emmanuel talk because Titi has said that.
Okay, so these are
Well,
definitely, again,
I
depending
agree.
on how egregious the situation or the offense or the problem is. Sometimes just a word of apology may not, it may require time, like we've said, and healing is important. Yes, that is true. The person that has been hurt needs to also realize they won't just stay in the same state and expect everything to just happen. Their efforts or things they need to do for themselves so they heal too. There's that responsibility to the offended and there's responsibility to the offender. However, the goal of let's say forgiveness or restitution or reconciliation is to bring the relationship as much as possible, as close as possible to its original state.
Original. Yes. Yes.
That's the goal, right? And the original state is the joy, the interconnectedness that was there prior to this event occurring, whether it's event by words or action. So it's the best way we can measure, are we over this? Is this how does this person feel about this? Like you said, where are we at with this situation? Can we actually talk about this thing and just laugh about it? That's one of the biggest indicators that we actually have recovered from that thing,
Yeah.
and we brought that relationship as close as possible to its original form. We've taken, in other words, the event, the deed has happened, but the hurt, the pain connected with it is no longer there. So even if we have the scars to prove that this did happen, we're not feeling that pain or that sting when we think back on it or when we remember it. And that's really the whole goal of apologizing, forgiveness, conflict resolution, and everything we've talked about. We're making that effort. But that effort is on both sides. One person can't just continue to insist, I am hurt, so I will always be hurt. I will never be healed. And even when in reality, this thing doesn't hurt you as much, you just want to keep holding it over your spouse
How do you
because it
know?
now becomes
How
a
do you know?
control.
Okay, Emmanuel,
It
now
now
you're
becomes
talking
a
like a man.
control. No, no,
How
no,
do
no, no,
you
no, no,
know
no.
that
Hold
in
on, hold on.
reality this thing
When
doesn't
when
offend? Because
when
no,
you
no, no, no,
say
no.
when you
Wait,
say
wait,
I'm
wait, wait,
talking
wait.
like
I
a
think there's
man,
not to that
hold
statement.
on, Mama.
Every one of us own our pain,
I'm
Emmanuel. You
I'm
cannot
getting
judge
there.
my pain.
I know I'm getting
Uh-uh.
there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay,
But
get there quickly, oh, so that we'll
well,
not quarrel now.
let's be let's be aware when we say you're talking like a man. We're giving the picture that men are offenders and women are offended.
No, 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 no. It's both
That's not
ways.
always
It's
the
both
case.
ways. It's both
Yeah,
ways.
but well, although, and you must understand that if somebody is genuinely sorry for something they've done, there is a level of frustration that goes with how long do I keep showing you that I am sorry? When is it going to be enough?
True.
When is forgiveness going to come? Because you've just said it now. You cannot put a timeline on my hurt. You
Pain.
cannot put a timeline on, yeah. So the other person that you've held hostage, because that's how that person might be feeling, when will they be released from that prison? When would you be
Love
satisfied?
a broken
And
heart like
and
time,
you must
love and
understand that.
tenderness. Emmanuel, nothing heals a broken heart like time, love and tenderness. Okay,
No, but
continue.
you get where
No,
I'm
I
going
think
with this.
the reason why the other party is asking for how long is because most of the time that party does not contribute to the other person's healing journey. I've heard people say things like, um, you need to heal. It's like it's your issue. You need to deal with it. If you feel this hurt, deal with it.
Yeah.
So if the other party does not contribute, and it's not just about change or not doing that thing again. Do you understand? If the other party does not contribute to that healing journey, you don't go along with your partner in that healing journey, you find yourself asking for how long because you don't know how far they've gone. You're not participating in that journey with them. That's where the issue is most of the time. So you feel you need to heal, I need to change independently, whereas both of you need to come together. So you don't know what page they are on. So you feel that they should have gone past this by now. But if you had followed them on that healing journey, you'll understand that okay, they are at this point now, they are at the next point now.
I think we should just go home. I think we should just go home because
So,
perfect. Emmanuel still has something to say, but for me,
oh yes,
that
I
is
do.
a beautiful and a perfect response. Look, it doesn't matter who offended the other. We are a team, right?
Right.
We are working together. And if we actually um together work towards that healing, then there'll be no that frustration. Since that thing happened. In fact, okay, I'm going to give an example of myself. I've had times when they've told me sorry. I accepted the sorry and I moved on. But some few months, few years, in fact, years, the one that shocked me, years down the line, I reacted somehow to some things, and I was like, why did I react like that? I came to the understanding that I was traumatized from what had happened much more than I thought. I thought I had thrown it away. I thought, and God knows in my heart, I was not acting on forgiveness. I was not keeping it in my mind to say, oh, this person did this, my husband did this to me. We were still okie going on, and so we thought. Until something happened and I broke. And I was like, now this that happened looked a little small in comparison to what had happened before. But the fact was, I had trauma. There was trauma in me that had not been dealt with. This is also the challenge when you are telling the other person, kilo wa ṣẹlẹ̀, what happened that I cannot finish? Can't the matter finish? Sometimes, Emmy, you have to apologize for life. Some offenses may require you to continuously live your life to make amends, to continue to give tenderness, to continue to give love. And I'll give an example. Someone who, for example, has gone through emotional abuse. This woman has been verbally abusive. I don't want to use a man again because now it's looking like we're attacking men. A woman who has been verbally abusive to the husband, always using bad words on him, blah, 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 blah. And now she has changed. She's repented. She must be conscious, constantly conscious of how she speaks to that man for life. Because the day she sleeps again, whether we like it or not, it's going to bring back, it's going to trigger the memories of the past. Nobody's going to be perfect. And we're not saying you not make a mistake. But you're not going to tell the man that, I begged you. I've even been cooking for you. Since that time, I've been washing your clothes. I've been doing everything for you. And yet, you cannot forgive the fact that I called you this. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
This is the most hurtful part of conflict resolution. Don't minimize the pain of anyone. Don't.
That's the word, minimize.
Whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, if someone tells you you have offended me, this is how it makes me feel. Hello, allow them own their pain. You cannot tell me how to feel. That is like beating me and telling me not to cry. What do you mean? Or how I should cry? You know how painful it was as a child? When they slap you and they say, shh. When our mothers, when they beat you, shh, and you're because you're about to burst, but you can't express it. No. That's the worst part for me, I think. You want to continue? You want to say something? Say.
Yes, I want to say several things actually. I want to try to clarify some things. I think there are three layers or three things here. First one is forgiveness. To me, the second one is conflict resolution. The third is healing from hurt. There are three layers. When we use the word conflict resolution, it means two people essentially on different poles of an issue or don't see the issue the same way. Resolution means we have either through compromise or other parameters come to agree on a certain arrangement going forward, if that's what I want to use. We may even agree to disagree, but that is a form of agreement of how we're dealing with the matter going forward. We have an understanding. So we've been able to resolve the conflict in the sense that everybody know where we are at, how we're dealing with this. And although conflict resolution is not always born out of forgiveness or unforgiveness, usually it's born out of an understanding, right? Now, it's different from forgiveness. Forgiveness is there was an offense and I have actually forgiven you for this thing you did. Now, to say I've forgiven you means I have released you from that prison. I don't hold you in a cage and put a mark over your head. Doesn't mean that's for you. It doesn't mean that I am fully healed from the hurt. Making all this distinction between what is happening with you and what is happening with me is critical, right? Because I like the example you gave about, coming out later to within a certain different experience, realizing, oh boy, I may not really have healed as much as I thought, or maybe there was still some rest. Does it mean you really didn't forgive? Are we now going
No.
to say, oh, that's unforgivable? Exactly. So there are three different, or does it mean that conflict wasn't resolved? The conflict probably was resolved and everyone's gone on from it. But the healing still needs to happen. And healing, like we've established, is where I'm going, is the reason I'm saying you can't hold somebody until you heal, because you really can't put a timeline on your healing. However, you can forgive. However, we can resolve the conflict. We can do our best to bring the relationship to a place where it was before this offense ever happened, while healing continues to happen. And in this course of healing continuing to happen, the other fact you mentioned, it is possible for me to even get hurt again, knowingly or unknowingly, by my spouse while I'm even in the process of healing. Does it now mean that person is now this evil person that is just trying to hurt me? Don't you know I've not healed completely? They may not know. So there needs to be a balance in our explanation. I don't think anyone who loves their spouse would deliberately and intentionally just want to hurt that person. To me, that's not an expression of love. Because love means that I am seeking the other person's best interest, sometimes even at the expense of mine. Right? So you will not, in your best of intentions or of your heart, want to re-hurt your spouse or partner. You'll be doing everything in your power to help mend that relationship. However, healing in and of itself, especially when there's trauma involved, especially when there are certain things that are really, really very super offensive, and really hurt. It takes time to heal, but we can forgive. And we can resolve this conflict, and we can still enjoy a good relationship while healing is happening. That's what I'm advocating for.
I totally agree. The only part that you not added is that we may need to, and I don't know whether to use the word may, or I should say should, work that part of healing together. We must recognize, just like you've said now, that healing takes time, and give this person the time that is needed to mend, to heal. Work with them, meaning not repeating that thing in the course of the person still trying to heal. You go and do it again. They start their wound from scratch. And then you're wondering why it's now difficult for them to heal. So work with them in that healing. Like the song I was playfully trying to bring in. I love Michael Bolton. I love him. I've always loved him. And one lyrics of his song says, there's nothing that heals a broken heart like time, like love and tenderness. If you've hurt someone, one way to help them heal quickly is to show them love, is to be tender with them, is to be gentle with them, is to be patient with them while they heal. If you try to rush the healing process, or if you try in the course of the healing to make them feel like, minimize their pain, like I was saying earlier on, then you are not allowing them heal. That's just the truth. You are not even allowing the healing. It's like you are scratching the wound open again and again and again. Don't keep referring to it and saying, is it that thing? So the matter will not finish again? Am I the first? In fact, what did I even do, Seth?
See, I find it difficult to believe.
You don't think after you said we've resolved, we've forgiven.
That's my point. I find it difficult to believe that the issue has been resolved. When you say phrases like that, it's difficult to believe that the issue has been resolved. Exactly. That means you don't even understand yet. You don't get it.
Exactly.
You don't get it.
Exactly.
So I understand that healing is a journey. It might take a while. But when you continue to refer to what, is it because of that small thing? As in you are still there? What did I even do? Then have we actually resolved this issue to the point of continuing on a healing journey? The issue has not been, because both parties don't understand. You don't understand the gravity of what you've done. That's why you're saying that, because you feel like what I've done is not big enough for you to be that hurt. So you don't get it yet. So if you don't get it, we have not resolved the issue yet. And these are the things that kill marriages.
Mhm. So
Okay.
what I am advocating for is to help us avoid these relationship killers we've mentioned. When there is an offense, forgiveness is the quickest thing that can happen, right? Yes, releasing that person from the bondage of that offense is the quickest to say, I forgive you. It's great if the person apologizes. I hope everyone that's listening to us by now understand how important it is if you've done wrong to acknowledge your wrong and to make effort to reconcile and bring that relationship back to a place of goodness, of bliss. Now, once we've done the forgiveness, to prevent further offense, repeat offense of the same situation, conflict resolution comes into play, and understanding. All right, now this is how we got to this place. How do we do it to avoid coming back here? How do we bring a level of understanding between us of how we're doing it, what we're doing? If it's a weakness you have, for example, let's discuss that weakness. How do I become a strength to you? How do I even help you? How can we work as a team? We now have an understanding going forward, meaning we've been able to, at the very minimum, resolve conflict. The last part of it is now that healing, which it takes God, it takes continual love, like tender loving, everything, all the ingredients we've mentioned, they come into play to make healing happen in the heart of the person that has been hurt and in the heart of the offender. So someone is not living with guilt and shame in a relationship, because that in and of itself is another extreme that is a relationship killer, where now, because I did this thing in the past, I now hold it over my own self. I won't forgive myself. I keep living a life of guilt and of shame, and I will not allow the relationship blossom. So I also need to heal from that offense and restore trust in that relationship again.
Yes, yes. What I'll say to that, because we really flogged this at our time now, is I was just already trying to put some summary comments, but there's a question. I will deal with that and then go. Is just to also say that what Emmanuel has just said last is true. You remember that both of you have said it's both of us that need to heal. The person who's offended you did not mean to. If we look at it, there could be, without making excuses for offenses, there's always an extenuating circumstance that has led to that person behaving the way they've behaved. And if you are willing to work with the person and the person is willing to work with you, that's the both of you coming together. Healing is always possible. And healing is always better when we work together, when we work to heal ourselves, when we're ready to apologize, we're ready to move forward, we're ready to say, we've done this mistake, you've made this mistake, I'm not going to go back to it again. Then healing is easy. Healing is doable. You can heal from anything. I know we've said, oh, the offenses might be big, the inability, and I've said this severally, the inability to forgive an offense is the major reason for divorce. Whether you say it's adultery, is irreconcilable differences, is what, it's your inability to forgive that thing and move past it. That's what leads to divorce. But if we're willing to work together and heal together, then we can always smile again and start afresh on a new slate. Okay, let's deal with Gabriel's question. And there are so there's there's a layer to this. Maybe when I speak now, Gabriel will help us give us that layer. The question is, how do you handle a partner that does not say sorry? Anyways, next Sunday is Q&A. Maybe we should just leave it for
Leave
next
it for
Sunday
Q&A.
because this is going to be a big one. He went on to say, in fact, so many women don't say sorry. Why? Women. Are you sure it's women? All right, people. This is our time. Let's move on. Next Sunday is our Q&A. The first question we're going to deal with will be Gabriel's question about why people don't say sorry. And if you think it's women who don't say sorry, come, let's talk about it. Come and tell us whether it's women or men. Women, you should come and defend yourself. Oh, there's an accusation here that has been labeled against us that we do not say sorry. Okay. All right. So see you next week. Next Sunday is our Q&A for the month of November. If you still have any further questions, please send them in. Like we've said, there's a WhatsApp number connected to our Facebook page. Once you just send a message to that number, you get to us directly, and we'll be able to either bring your question here or cancel you. If you need healing from trauma, from a bad experience, you can also reach out to us. We have contacts, people that are experts that can help you. Don't die in silence. Don't live with a guilt. Don't allow it kill your relationship. You're having difficulty forgiving your partner over a particular thing that has happened. Let's help you walk through the conflict. That is why we are here. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. All of you who've come on, Tara, Blessing, Praise. I see all of you, Onyinye. I can't mention every name, Gabriel. All of you who've come online since we started, those who peeped and then left, Barrister Nkem. I'm so happy that Nkem had time for us today. I'm meaning to bring her here because of conflict resolution. She's an alternative dispute resolutor. How do they call them? Yeah, so she's a barrister, and her major area is alternative dispute resolution. So I'm looking forward to bringing her to talk about how we can, alternative routes before divorce. Remember, that's why it's called mend fences. We want to mend our fences as much as is possible. We don't want to throw it away. Okay, that's enough talking. Share this video. If you miss a live one, you can still watch it again. So share with your friends. You could be helping someone. You could be saving someone. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, Titi. Despite my hiccup at the beginning, you are the bestest for always covering me. I love you so much. All right, everyone. See you next week. Have a love-filled week. Bye.